Nicholas, the acquisition manager. Today, I wanted to do a video based off of preparing when you're purchasing an apartment building. So this is what I had sent to my buyer's agent. I told my buyer's agent, this is what I need. This is not this is going to be the first step. This is not the third or second step. This is the first step. And just try to get as much information as possible before we even make an offer on the property. I told the buyer's agent we need annual gross income. I told her we needed expenses, operating expenses. What is the occupancy rate? What is the rent rolls? What is the year built? The unit mix, T12. Some people are comfortable hearing trailing 12. There's different names for it. And then I told her we needed to know cap rate, even though we could do that ourselves. But we wanted to see what did they place the cap rate at. Seeing if seller financing is available, net operating income. And let's break this down a little bit slower because I know I'm going through it quicker. So the first thing is gross rent income. So we want to know what is the actual income before taxes are taken out. We want to know what is this property generating before it. That's good because you'll know what is the property actually generating. Is the owner saying so? The owner could say, "Hey, it's generating this." Remind y'all, this is the first step. We still gotta evaluate the actual income, the property, and then after we evaluate it, and let's say we get it under contract, we still have to do a deep dive on the actual profit and loss statements. We're going to ask for more profit and loss statements. We're going to ask for way more to do a deep dive to make sure, because we're buying a business. We want to make sure that the owner or the seller's agent didn't just jack up the numbers, because that's common. They boost up the numbers to make it look better. So annual expenses. What are the expenses? How much are the expenses? Who's paying what? Sometimes depending on how the multifamily is structured, the tenants may be paying some of the expenses. Sometimes the owner is paying expenses. So you have to look and see who's paying what. I know in the townhouse that I live in currently right now, we pay expenses. We pay electricity, water, we pay that. So depending on what property type you live in, what complex, it could vary. It could vary. And what this is like I want to say a 20 unit townhouse. So it's like a bunch of townhouses together. So just depending on how everything is set up. So that's very important. Also, the next thing is occupancy rate. So there's a word that is going to come to my mind later. I don't have my notes open. And again, like I said, a lot of these things is going to be hard to remember because it's a lot. So there's occupancy rate, and then I think it starts with a G. So occupancy rate is how many tenants are actually in the property, right? How many tenants are actually occupying the units. There's another one I can't think off the top of my head, but okay, if there's a tenant in the property and let's say they're not paying rent, it's not the full occupancy rate because you have a tenant in there, but the income is not being paid. So that's a problem. I got to go back and look up what that word is because I remember it, but I don't remember exactly what the word is. Like I said, a lot of this is going to be complicated to remember because it's a lot. So rent rolls, as you can see, this is the rent rolls. How much are the tenants paying? When did they lease start? The names, if possible, deposits, how much deposits. We get all that when we purchase the property. We get all that. So this is why the rent rolls are important. The year built. The year built is going to tell you how old the complex or how old the building is. That's why the year built is important. It's going to tell you When was the last time it was updated? Excuse me. When was the last time it was updated? When was the last time it was built? So one of the things I did forget on here, and I remember it later because I'm constantly on point. I forgot to put on here deferred maintenance. Deferred maintenance, and I might tell the agent that I don't know because I don't want to get her confused. But deferred maintenance is maintenance that need to be done, but it's been pushed to the side into a later date. Your roof, it could be deferred maintenance. I'm trying to think what else that can be deferred maintenance. A large expense. I remember I was listening to one of the apartment owners, and his deferred maintenance was he had a patio. Like his when you walk inside the building, it had a patio, and that patio kind of looked real wonky. It was the paint wasn't good. It was deferred maintenance, and they got it done, and they was able to turn their apartment building into I think it was like a C plus to a B based off of just updating the building. Um, we'll get into the A, B, and C later. I might do a separate video on that because that's good to talk about. So unit mix. Unit mix is the bedroom types. Is it two ones? Is it three ones? Is it four ones? Meaning is it two bedrooms and one baths? Remember, each apartment building can have different unit mixes. So that's very important to know when you are actively doing stuff like this. You want to know, what is it? Is it two ones? Is it two twos? It's very important. So trailing 12. Trailing 12 in simple terms is just a profit and loss statement. It's only one profit and loss statement. How I was taught, when you looking at apartment buildings, you want to get at least 3 or 4. You know what I mean? You want to get as many profit and loss statements as possible because you're buying this building. You want to make sure that you are buying this building at the income that they say it's generating. And if it's not generating the income that they say it is not generating, I mean, if it's not generating the income that they say it is generating, we need to negotiate the price a little bit longer. Negotiate the price a little bit lower, because you are trying to make, you want your ROI, your return on investment on your money. You want to make sure that you're not losing any money when you purchase this real estate, when you purchase building. So just this building is very important. That's very important. So the next thing is cap rate. The property, in simple terms, is going to tell you how much you're going to make on it. And so I don't want to get into that. That might be a whole nother video. But the cap rate is very important. Some people go by cap rate, some people don't, because there's several different ways to evaluate a commercial property. Seller financing, like I said, in that first video, I'm talking about properties that's seller financing. Why is that important? Because now, as you can see right there, now you can negotiate with the actual homeowner. That's a better ROI for us. ROI. The net operating income. The net operating income, that's after pay the expenses you pay, after money in reserves, after you have settled all your bills. What's left over? I didn't put on here because I didn't put cash on cash on cash. I didn't put that on there because I didn't want to confuse her, and that's something I can look at based off the information that I just gathered. I can figure that out myself. So as you can see, I said, P.S. If the seller gives seller financing, it makes the deal better since we can negotiate lower interest rate than the bank. Like I said earlier, that's a deal if they give us seller financing, but the terms have to be correct to make it a deal. So as you can see right here, I said the name of the game is to see who can give you a better ROI on your money. Meaning, what is the return on what is the best return on investment on your money? Who's willing to give you a good interest rate? Who's willing to give you a better interest rate on your money? If you can get a better interest rate on your money, you won. Most people don't know this, but the banks is I don't know how to say it without telling the truth. The banks, they fuck you over, man. Think about it. You're paying interest on your mortgage. When you do a seller financing, you will see how much the actual person is making. They might make triple the times that you paying for your property. Yeah, mind blowing. So in reality, let's say you purchased a property for $150,000. With that interest rate, depending on what that interest rate is, you might be paying $500,000. You may be paying close to $1 million. You won't know until you actually do the math, until you figure out what is the interest rate that they charge you. Yeah, hey, bro. And then right here, I copied this. Well, I pasted this in here just in case. So these are the apartment buildings I was looking at in Nashville. And as you can see, we got 2 that got seller financing and some that don't. One of the things I told the agent, as you can see, I told her to ask, do they have seller financing? Why? That gives us a better deal. We're looking at properties they turnkey. I'm looking at properties. I'm looking at B's. I'm looking at B's, B plus, and C's. I'm really looking at C's and B's. I don't want to go any lower. They say don't do D's and don't do A's. A's is those super $1 million properties that's like way over a couple million. B's and C's, well, C's is going to be the properties that most investors buy at. B's, they're going to be way more up to date. Those are your newly built properties. They may be in a good area, a good location. It just depends. One of the properties, that property, it's brand new built, newly built. The last time I spoke to them before I had an agent, they were still trying to fill up the property. They were offering seller finance because most of the time, this is what I heard. I can only tell you what I heard. Most of the time, people don't want to target a property they're trying to fill tenants up, because you putting tenants in a property, it takes a long time. So a lot of people don't target those. For me, I was only looking at it because they had seller financing. If we can get a deal, and if we can get some type of deal that makes sense, it might make sense for us to get it. It just has to make sense, numbers wise. It has to make sense. So a lot of these properties, like I told the agent, let's go back over here real quick. Here, like these properties right here, it's gonna be difficult for you to get the information. How do I know it's gonna be difficult for you to get the information? Because that's what I've been doing. I've been working on these properties, and it is difficult to get the information. If you look at my last video, when that agent called me and she said she was still dealing with the property owner and she got to sit down with the owner and comb through his finances. That's what she's going to be dealing with. The reason why I gave this task to the buyer's agent is because I could do stuff like this. You know, it's easier versus me trying to do it because I'm impatient. And on top of that, I'd rather have people that speak their language. I speak investor language. I'm an investor. I've been doing the schoolwork. You know, I understand that. Versus a real estate agent, there's two different lanes. There's investor's lane and then the agent lane. I'd rather put the agent on that lane, and you speak and you gather all that information, and then follow up until you get all the rest of the information. But as you can see, this is what we sent to the agent for the agent to get this information. Once we get this information, then we can start the analyzation process. We can start figuring out which properties we seriously want to look at, which properties we want to pitch out, which properties we want to do a deeper dive on, which properties are we actually going to take serious. That's what all this information is going to tell us. We're going to see who's for real and who's BSing it. But
Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys an update of how the conversation with the agent is going. As you can see, she said one of the properties was a scam. Come right here, they took this property offline. This Timberlake property, this 768 Hillborough property, sent the email. Um, so this is what I said. I said, no problem. Just keep moving. By the way, the lender said he's willing to do a stack mortgage on that 100 Sherry Lane property. So she asked me what was the price, what was the offer, and this is what I said. That's fine. Just keep going through the leads. It doesn't work like that. To give them an offer, we have to verify the numbers, even the lender simple terms. And even the lender in simple terms, the income has to match the purchase price. It has to make sense. So I also sent this. I said we will be bringing an equity partner to the table. So if it's worth $1 million, whatever is not covered by the lender, we will bring the rest to the table. So it just depends on the NOI and rest of the property expenses. So I also sent this. I said most of these properties are being managed by themselves. I meant to say self owners, but it said by themselves. These may not be a property manager in place, so we have to add it in there. And most of the information will be hard to get. It has not been ran properly. So this is what I said. This is what she said. You want me to send the questions to the agent? I said yes. Okay. Fast forward a couple days. I said, hey, just following up with you. I'm seeing how things are going. No luck. Some haven't answered, and one said they don't have the information. And this is what I said. No problem. That's to expect, meaning that's to be expected. As I said earlier, a lot of these individuals, they don't have the information. It's very difficult when you're looking at income producing properties or mainly commercial properties. When you're looking at anything that has to do with income producing, a lot of the homeowners, they're not running it like an actual business. They're running it as mom and pop, quote unquote. That's why they call it a mom and pop. They're running it as if this is their lifeline. This is the only thing that they have. They're not running it like an actual business. They don't have financial records. A lot of these things they barely keep up with. So that's why I say this business is very difficult. So as you can see, I said, okay, let's get back to it. I said, that's to be expected. We just have to keep on looking and call and follow up with people. And then I said, just a quick tip. Your broker may have access to serious investors that own multiple multifamilies that want to sell. Most of these properties are on the MLS, are tire kickers. If you're not familiar with that old saying in real estate, a lot of investors, even homeowners, are you a tire kicker? They want to know, are you serious? Are you serious about purchasing this property, or are you serious about selling this? And most of the homeowners that you're going to come across, not every single one. I'm not labeling. I'm not singling anybody out. I'm just telling you facts. What I've seen. Again, I speak from what I've seen or what I heard, and this is exactly what I see. A lot of individuals, they're tire kickers. They have this imaginary price in their head, and if they don't get it, they're willing to either let it sit, take it off the market, and then re-put it back on the market. They're trying to get the price that they want, and nobody is budging at the price that they want. Mostly everybody is giving them a price that is feasible, a price that people are willing to pay for. It's just like if a carton of milk at Walmart, a normal carton of milk probably like $2, five, something like that. But let's say today the carton of milk is $100. You would walk past that carton of milk. You would be like, that's not worth it. So that's how a lot of people are looking at these deals. A lot of people are looking at this like, hey, why would I spend $100 for a carton of milk when I can go to another store and get a cheaper carton of milk? You see what I'm saying? There's nothing special or specific about this milk. And if it was special or if it was specific, I mean, if it was special and something was good about this milk, it would have already been sold already. So that's the problem that you're going to come across, these individuals that are not serious. They're tire kickers. They are not as serious as you are. But I just wanted to give you guys an update and show you how everything is going. Have a nice day. Bye.